Most people wait until everything crashes before they make a change. They wait for the panic attack to address their mental health. They wait until their body breaks down before they care about their health. They ignore that quiet voice inside, that whisper from the soul, until the noise of regret becomes too loud to ignore. But not you. You're here because something inside you is waking up. You're ready to stop living on autopilot and start showing up for your mind, your body, and your soul every single day. Not just for now, but for the version of you that's waiting in the future. That version is counting on the decisions you make today. So let's talk about what it really means to focus on your full self and why your future self will be grateful that you started right here, right now. When you bring your mind, body, and soul into alignment, something powerful happens. Your life begins to make sense, not in a way that's perfect or always easy, but in a way that feels grounded, intentional, and real. We live in a world that often encourages us to compartmentalize. You're told to fix your mindset in isolation, to focus on physical fitness like it's disconnected from your emotions, and to ignore the quiet voice within unless it's convenient. But that's not how transformation works. You can't change your life by changing just one part of you. Real growth happens when everything within you begins to move in the same direction. Think of it like this. Your mind is the driver, your body is the vehicle, and your soul is the GPS. When they're working together, you're unstoppable. But when they're not aligned, everything feels off. You try to move forward mentally, but your body is exhausted. You try to chase a goal, but your soul knows it's not what you truly want. You push and grind, but deep down you feel disconnected, frustrated, and tired of pretending. That's the danger of living in pieces. And you weren't built for that. Alignment doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you'll never have a bad day. It means your energy is directed, not scattered. It means you're living in integrity with your values, your purpose, your health, and your truth. It starts with awareness, paying attention to the thoughts you're feeding your mind, recognizing how your body responds to stress, nourishment, movement, listening to what your soul is quietly trying to say between the noise of the world. That level of connection changes everything, not overnight, but with every conscious decision you make. Your mind controls the narrative you tell yourself, and you'd be surprised how powerful that story is. Are you telling yourself you're behind, that you're not enough, that things never work out for you? If that's your daily script, you're programming your actions and your energy to follow that path. But when your mind is aligned with your vision and your purpose, you become intentional, focused, resilient. Because now your thoughts aren't just reacting to life, they're creating it. That's the power of alignment. Now, add in your body. This isn't about how you look. It's about how you feel. It's about honoring your body with rest, movement, hydration, fuel. Your body holds the stress you don't talk about. It stores your tension, your burnout, your past. When you ignore it, it speaks louder through pain, fatigue, illness. But when you take care of it, it becomes your strength. It supports your goals. It gives you the energy to show up fully. You can't go after big dreams in a body that's running on empty. And then there's your soul, the part of you that doesn't need validation to know what's right. It's your inner compass, the part of you that feels peaceful when you're living in truth and restless when you're not. So many people suppress their soul because it asks them to make hard choices, to let go of relationships that no longer serve them, to walk away from careers that pay the bills but kill their spirit, to say no when the world expects yes. But every time you betray your soul, you lose a piece of yourself, and no amount of success or approval will fill that gap. Alignment means giving your soul a seat at the table, not just in meditation or prayer, but in your everyday decisions. When your mind is clear, your body is cared for, and your soul is heard, you become dangerous in the best way. Because now you're not reacting to life, you're creating it. You're not settling, you're choosing. You're not just surviving, you're building something meaningful. You speak with clarity, you move with purpose. You trust your timing, your process, your intuition. That's what alignment does. It takes the broken pieces and brings them together with power. So if you're feeling lost, scattered, stuck, don't look for a quick fix. Look within. Align your thoughts with truth. Align your body with vitality. Align your soul with purpose. Start small, be consistent, and watch how everything begins to change, not just around you, but within you. Because the moment you stop living in pieces and start living in harmony, your life begins to move forward with strength, focus, and peace. Your future self will thank you for choosing this path, because this is the version of you that's finally whole. When it comes to changing your life, everything starts with your mind, your habits, your choices, your energy, your attitude. It all begins there. If your mind is cluttered, negative, and undisciplined, then every part of your life reflects that. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Mental discipline is not about being positive all the time. It's not about pretending you're okay when you're not. It's about having the strength to take control of your thoughts before they control you. The way you think creates the lens through which you see the world. If your lens is clouded with doubt, insecurity, or past trauma, you're going to misread situations, overreact, or shrink yourself every time something challenges you. But when your mind is trained, you start choosing your responses instead of reacting to everything emotionally. That's when freedom kicks in. Real freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about being in charge of how you respond, even when life hits hard. Training your mind doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily commitment. Just like you wouldn't go to the gym once and expect to be fit for life, you can't expect mental strength to appear after reading one quote or listening to one motivational video. This is about showing up for yourself every day, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. That's the test. You start small. You start by becoming aware of what you're feeding your mind. Are you spending your time watching negativity? Are you surrounding yourself with people who constantly complain or doubt everything? Are you the one constantly repeating your old stories of failure, heartbreak, and struggle? Because what you feed your mind will either fuel your growth or sabotage it. So you change the narrative. You begin speaking to yourself like someone you love. You tell yourself you're capable, not because it sounds nice, but because your brain is listening. You don't need to lie to yourself. You don't need fake affirmations. What you need is truth. And the truth is, you have overcome so much already. You've survived your worst days. You're still here, still fighting, still standing. That counts for something. Actually, that counts for everything. Mental discipline also means setting boundaries with your own distractions. That might mean turning off the notifications, saying no to scrolling, getting up when the alarm rings, choosing the walk instead of the extra sleep, choosing the book instead of the noise. Those choices build your mind muscle, and that muscle, that's what you're going to lean on when things get hard, because they will. But here's the thing. When your mind is strong, you're not shaken so easily. You don't beg for validation. You don't chase. Your body is talking to you every single day. The question is, are you listening? Because most people aren't. They push through the fatigue, numb the discomfort, ignore the tension, and then wonder why they feel stuck, broken, or disconnected. But your body is more than just a vehicle to get you through the day. It's a messenger, a communicator, a direct line to your deeper truth. And when you finally start listening to it, everything begins to change. You know that tightness in your chest when you're in the wrong environment? That's not random. It's your body saying, you don't belong here. That knot in your stomach when you're around certain people? That's not just nerves. That's your intuition showing up physically. That exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix? That's your soul waving a white flag, begging you to stop and realign. But society teaches us to override all of that. Hustle harder, push past the pain, ignore the signals, smile through the stress. And what happens? We burn out, we break down. We become strangers in our own skin. We forget how to feel, we forget how to breathe, we forget how to be present with ourselves. But there's another way, and it starts with a radical decision to reconnect, to slow down long enough to hear what your body has been trying to tell you. That ache in your back, maybe it's not just poor posture. Maybe it's the weight of responsibilities you were never meant to carry alone. That constant headache, maybe it's not just dehydration or screen time. Maybe it's your mind screaming for silence in a world that never stops yelling. That fatigue, maybe it's not laziness. Maybe it's the cost of pretending you're okay when you're not. The body doesn't lie. It tells the truth in ways your words sometimes can't. So what if instead of fighting your body, you partnered with it? What if instead of pushing through, you paused? What if you treated your body like a sacred space instead of a machine that's only valuable when it performs? This isn't about becoming a fitness guru or going on a juice cleanse. This is about honoring your body's signals as sacred data, information that helps you navigate life with clarity and wisdom. It's about noticing when you feel light and when you feel heavy, when your energy expands and when it contracts. It's about tuning in to the messages that have been drowned out by the noise of shoulds, musts, and what will they think. Because when you start listening, healing begins. You realize you don't need to feel guilty for needing rest. You don't need to earn your worth by staying busy. You don't need to keep ignoring the symptoms that are trying to lead you to truth. You start to notice the small things. How a walk in nature clears your head. How stretching releases more than just muscle tension. How eating well is an act of self-respect, not self-punishment. You learn that taking care of your body isn't selfish. It's essential. It's the foundation for every other part of your life. When your body feels safe, your mind thinks more clearly. When your nervous system is regulated, your emotions become more manageable. When you stop suppressing how you feel physically, you open the door to healing emotionally and spiritually. They're all connected, mind, body, soul. You can't truly thrive in one area while neglecting the others. Your body isn't against you. It's not failing you. It's trying to wake you up. And the sooner you stop seeing it as a problem to fix and start seeing it as a partner to listen to, the sooner you start living in alignment. So check in with yourself. Ask, what's my body trying to tell me today? Where do I feel tension? What feels light? What feels heavy? What needs to be released? What needs to be embraced? The answers are there. The wisdom is within you. You just have to get quiet enough to hear it. And when you do, when you finally listen, your body will thank you, your soul will thank you, and your future self will rise up and say that was the moment everything changed. When we talk about health and success, most people immediately think of mindset or physical habits, what you think and what you do. But too many people skip over the soul. They ignore the whispers inside, the feelings that try to guide them, the deeper sense of self that doesn't shout but speaks in silence. And yet that part of you, your soul, is the core of who you are. Ignoring it is like walking around with the lights off in your own house. You might know the layout, but you'll still trip over things. Eventually, you'll fall hard. That's what happens when you dismiss your inner voice, your intuition, your soul. Every day, there's a voice inside you trying to get your attention. It shows up when something doesn't feel right. It nudges you when you're about to settle. It whispers, you deserve more, when you're stuck in a place that's draining the life out of you. But here's the truth. Most people are too busy, too distracted, or too afraid to listen, so they keep going. They power through jobs that make them miserable. They stay in relationships that shrink them. They fill their schedules with noise, so they never have to sit in silence. Because silence is where the soul speaks. And if you've been ignoring it for a while, that silence can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is not danger, it's direction. The reason soul work is not optional is because the soul is where your real answers live. You can read all the books, follow all the trends, hire all the coaches, but if you're not in alignment with your soul, you're building on shaky ground. You will always feel off. You'll feel tired even after resting. You'll feel uninspired even when things are good on paper, because success without soul is just performance. It's a mask, and masks are heavy to wear every day. So how do you feed your soul? You start by creating space. Space for stillness, space for honesty, space where you don't need to be productive, you just need to be present. That might look like journaling in the morning instead of scrolling your phone. It might be taking a walk without your headphones. It might be asking yourself one powerful question every day. What do I really need today? Not what do people expect of me, not what will make others happy. What do I need? That simple question reconnects you with your soul. And when you begin to listen, things shift. You'll start to notice where your peace increases and where it decreases. You'll start to feel what's aligned and what's not. And the more you follow that, the more confident you become, because confidence isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself to figure it out. And that trust, that's soul deep. Feeding your soul also means removing what drains it. That might be environments that make you feel small, conversations that leave you exhausted, or even habits that numb you instead of heal you. This is why boundaries aren't selfish. They're sacred. They protect your energy. They preserve your peace. And your peace is priceless. You cannot fully step into your purpose if you're constantly leaking energy in places you don't belong. People often ask, what if I lose people when I start prioritizing myself? And the answer is you will. But the people who fall away when you grow weren't really rooted in you. They were attached to a version of you that didn't honor your soul. Let them go. The right people will rise with you. The wrong ones will resent you. Either way, your peace is the proof that you're on the right path. This journey is not easy, but it is powerful. And the more consistent you become, the louder your soul speaks. It will guide you toward what feels right. It will nudge you away from what feels wrong. And over time, you'll realize that nothing outside of you holds the answers. You had them all along. When you prioritize your soul, you stop chasing validation because you already feel whole. You stop seeking chaos because you've built your home in peace. And you stop, when we talk about transformation, people often look for some grand moment, some major breakthrough, a loud cinematic shift that changes everything overnight. But the truth is, the most powerful form of growth isn't loud. It's quiet. It's repetitive. It's deeply personal, and it happens one small action at a time, repeated over and over again until it becomes who you are. That's what consistency is. And consistency at its core is self-respect in motion. Let's get real. Showing up for yourself every single day, even when no one is watching, even when you don't feel like it, even when it seems like nothing is changing, is one of the highest forms of self-love there is. We live in a world that celebrates instant gratification and overnight success. But real change, the kind that rewires your brain, reshapes your body, and reconnects your soul, that takes daily intentional effort. And you're not doing it for applause. You're doing it because you refuse to betray yourself anymore. There's something deeply empowering about keeping the promises you make to yourself. You wake up and say, I'm going to move my body today, and then you do it. You say, I will meditate. I will eat something that nourishes me. I will journal through this pain instead of scrolling it away, and then you follow through. You begin to believe in your own word. That trust in yourself is the foundation of confidence, and that confidence fuels momentum. Over time, these small actions become habits, and those habits become your identity. You are what you do consistently, not occasionally, not when it's easy, but when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's quiet. That's where character is built. That's where mental toughness grows, and that's where transformation is born. Maybe you've fallen into a cycle of starting and stopping. Maybe you've told yourself 1,000 times, this is the last time I'll break my word to myself, and then you find yourself right back where you started. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. But what separates the person who stays stuck from the person who evolves is the willingness to start again. Every day is a new opportunity to choose differently, to show up, to try again, not perfectly, but persistently. Consistency isn't about grinding yourself into exhaustion. It's not about perfection or comparison. It's about choosing you again and again. It's about honoring your goals even when the motivation is gone. It's about doing the thing because your future self deserves the results. And here's the part no one tells you. Most days will feel ordinary. Most steps you take will feel small, even insignificant. But months from now, when your mind is clearer, your body is stronger, and your spirit is at peace, you'll look back and realize it wasn't one massive leap that changed you. It was every little step you were willing to take over and over. So whether your journey is physical, emotional, spiritual, or all of the above, stay consistent. Wake up and decide again and again to choose actions that align with who you are becoming. Respect yourself enough to keep going even when the results aren't visible yet. You are planting seeds. Water them, tend to them, be patient with them, and trust your future self is already whispering, "Thank you for not giving up on me." Success isn't just a checklist of goals. It's not about how many hours you hustle or how packed your calendar looks. Success is the byproduct of alignment. It comes from becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts the results they want rather than someone constantly chasing them. When you focus on becoming more aware, more resilient, more grounded, more intentional, everything else starts to shift in your favor. Most people think they need to do more to succeed, add more tasks, take more action, attend more events, talk to more people, build more connections. But let's pause for a second. What if it's not about the quantity of your effort, but the quality of your growth? What if the real transformation happens when you start working on yourself, not just on your to-do list? Becoming more starts with awareness. You've got to become aware of your patterns, what thoughts you feed, what stories you tell yourself, how you react under pressure, what triggers your fear or your self-sabotage. When you begin to observe yourself without judgment, you unlock the power to change. You stop living on autopilot and you start steering the wheel. And then you step into discipline, not punishment. Discipline, the kind of daily commitment to showing up for yourself even when nobody is watching. This is where true growth lives, waking up when you said you would, taking care of your body even when motivation is low, saying no to things that pull you away from your peace, repeating the same small habits that don't look flashy but stack up to huge wins over time. You see, success doesn't just arrive at your doorstep because you want it badly enough. It shows up because you prepared for it, because you became the kind of person who could hold it. Let's be honest. How many people get the relationship, the money, the career they dream of, and then lose it because they weren't ready for it? They didn't have the emotional intelligence, the boundaries, the maturity to keep it. They were chasing a result without becoming the person who could maintain it. That's why this idea of becoming more is so powerful. When you work on your mindset, you begin to make better decisions. When you work on your confidence, you stop seeking validation from the wrong people. When you work on your self-worth, you start setting standards that match your value. And when you do that consistently, success doesn't feel like a surprise. It feels like a natural consequence. Becoming more also means learning how to handle setbacks. You grow through what you go through. Every time life throws a challenge your way, you get to decide how you respond. Do you shrink or do you expand? Do you spiral or do you strategize? The version of you who's thriving on the other side of this season isn't someone else. It's just a more elevated version of you, and they're waiting for you to meet them. So ask yourself this: what does the next level version of me look like? How do they think? How do they move? How do they spend their time? And then start aligning your actions with that version today. Not when it's convenient, not when everything's perfect, now. You don't become more by wishing, you become more by choosing. Choosing to take the hard path when it leads to growth. Choosing to walk away from what no longer fits. Choosing to believe in your worth even when others don't see it yet. You choose to build habits, boundaries, and beliefs that reflect who you're becoming, not who you've been. And here's the truth. When you focus on becoming more, success becomes inevitable. Not because the world suddenly hands you what you want, but because you've positioned yourself to receive it. You've elevated your identity, your energy, and your standards to match the life you're working toward. Stop asking, what do I need to do? And start asking, who do I need to become? Because once you answer that, the rest falls into place. When you've been hurt, deeply hurt, your instinct is to protect yourself. You shut down, you build walls, you pretend you're fine when you're not. You tell yourself to just get over it, to move on, to be strong. But real strength isn't in pretending you're not broken. Real strength is in giving yourself permission to heal and allowing that process to unfold fully, even when it's uncomfortable, messy, and slow. Healing is not a weakness, it's not optional, it's necessary. And if you want to become the person you're meant to be, you need to stop rushing past your pain and start learning from it. Think about it. When something shatters, it doesn't become whole by ignoring the cracks. It becomes whole by piecing itself back together, slowly, intentionally, and with care. That's what healing is. It's choosing every single day to show up for yourself even when it hurts. Even when it would be easier to run or distract or numb. Healing is progress. It's not linear, it's not glamorous, and it doesn't come with applause. But it's the foundation of every strong, peaceful, grounded person you admire.